Hi everyone, welcome back to Connect and Communicate with AK, brought to you by Pandya Entertainment. Thank you for joining us as we bring to you your dose of entertainment for today. Today's special guest plays a very important role in the town of Ajax. He has lived here since 1969 and has always been an active member of his community. He remains the chair of Durham Transit and is a board member of Alexicon Energy. He also holds a very important title of the Mayor of Ajax. Ajax is home to one of the fastest growing populations in the eastern part of the GTA. One of the best parts of Ajax is the waterfront gem, which has stunning views of Lake Ontario. All around Ajax, you'll find reminders of the town's early beginnings, historic sites and landmarks, each with unique stories of times long ago, so you can see that this is a place rich in history. Ajax started off unlike other towns. The first establishment in Ajax was a shell plant. The plant was called Defense Industries Limited, and around it, visitors and workers grew. The original plan was to tear down the plant and wartime homes after the war had ended, but the people who were working at the plant rented those homes out and created a community. That was then. Let's see how Ajax is now. So now let's head to Mr. Shaun Collier's office and ask him a couple questions. Thank you for joining me today, and congratulations on completing almost 1 year as mayor of town of Ajax. So how was the transition from regional councillor to mayor for you?
It wasn't a huge, it actually was quite a bit of a learning curve. It was a lot more work, a lot more meetings and all of that, but that's kind of the pace I set for myself going forward, and I wanted to do as much as possible in the first 10 months, and that's really what we've done is just spent the first year now just putting all kinds of new ideas into the system, and now we're starting to see the end product starting to come out the other end, and we're starting to see the results. So it's been great.
Awesome. So now you've played a couple different roles, so what would you say is a challenge exclusive to the role of mayor?
Well, I think I did it the right way. I started as local councillor and did that for a couple terms. I'm regional councillor and deputy mayor and then mayor. So I sort of worked my way up the system. I see it challenging for one of our councillors. We have 3 brand new local councillors and 1 brand new regional councillor. And being a local councillor, it's not that big of a transition. It's still a pretty steep learning curve, but you can do it. Mm-hmm. You could even carry on a second job if you had it, which a couple of ours do. But regional really becomes full-time, and you need to know a lot about the local before you get to the regional. So our 1 brand new regional councillor probably had one of the steepest learning curves, having to learn both.
Yes, for sure. So you've been on council since 2003,
yes.
Is that right? So it's safe to say that you know Ajax pretty well.
Well, I grew up here too. I've lived here since 1969.
Okay,
so this
nice.
is 50 years this year.
That's amazing.
I was 1.
Oh. Okay, great. So what would you say is a huge development or a big change that you've seen over the years which still shocks you?
Well, we've grown from, I remember when on the 401 the sign said Ajax population 12,000, and I think it also said 12 kilometers when you're coming from Toronto. Now it says 10 kilometers, so that means we've expanded by about 2 kilometers, and the population is almost 129,000. So it's been significant growth, and what really makes that significant is we are much smaller than other municipalities. So if you look at Pickering, we're really about 1/10 the size of Pickering. We're about 1/15 the size of Clarington. We're much smaller than these other municipalities, yet we have much higher populations. So we're very dense population, and we have a fixed urban boundary. So just the significant growth is probably what's most interesting.
Awesome. Yeah. So during your involvement, what was your biggest accomplishment that you would think?
Becoming mayor.
Yes. Of course. And congratulations on that.
That was probably the biggest, other than my kids being born in my life, that was probably one of my biggest accomplishments. That was something we worked very, very hard on, and an excellent team. We really, it was a 100-day campaign, and we were out every day, all day. And I think we did most things right. We stayed, we stuck to the issues, and I think our issues were very important and very a lot of people related, and we just worked really hard.
And you did. You ran a great campaign. I also remember that, and you were very confident about winning. So where does that confidence kind of come from?
Well, I don't know if confidence about winning. I was a nervous wreck on in the last few days, but
Okay, we couldn't tell.
yeah, no, you put your game face on, you just go. No, you just stick to your messaging. Like, that was the important thing. I felt that the issues that I was bringing to the table, things like economic development and creating jobs and attracting business and broadening our tax base and taking the pressure off the residential taxpayer and innovation technology and all these different things were really resonating very well with the residents of Ajax, and we just stuck to that and it worked out.
It worked in your favor, yes. So that's what you've already accomplished. Now, what's next for Ajax, your vision? Something big that you're planning?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I can't talk about yet, but you've heard of our Innovation Village?
Yes.
That is huge. That started off as just an idea. I knew technology was very important. I knew artificial intelligence, things like drones and technology and all this stuff, and robotics, and that was sort of the way we're going. Okay. Virtual reality, all these things. And we want to attract business. And how do you attract business? Well, we need to have a very educated workforce. We need to be able to provide that sort of training center. We have a lot of kids coming out of college, university that maybe have a great idea and don't know how to get their idea to market. So having that incubator tech hub, I felt was important. And it was just an idea, and our economic development team just ran with it. And they've done such a great job, and they put together an amazing business plan, and I'm hoping in December when we get to capital budget that we'll be able to fund the business plan and make this a reality. So that's one of the really big accomplishments, I think, so far. As a council, I mean, we've already really changed a lot of things in just our way of doing business. I mean, our planning department has become much more of a solution-based approach to planning. So I've been working very hard to cut the red tape and make Ajax a really attractive place for developers to come and invest in our community and build those buildings and create those jobs, and as well as a number of different housing types. Like, we have a lot of single-family residential homes. We need more seniors homes. We need more long-term care facilities. We need more apartments and condos, and younger people starting out can't afford $700,000-800,000 for a house.
Yes.
so we have seniors who live in a big 4-bedroom home and who want to downsize, but we don't have those condos, so they're leaving Ajax. So it's important to get those different housing types and also redevelop our downtown core.
So you have all these big projects in mind. How do you keep public opinion or involvement during the process of these projects?
Well, every project that we do is a statutory requirement for public meetings. So when we get an application in, it goes to our planning department, and they will vet the application. And I will usually, every Monday, have my mayor's meeting, and I have our senior staff in here, and we have our discussions. And I want to find out what is new, what new applications have come in, what pre-consults have we done, where are our current ones, which ones are close to completion. And once it's going through that process, we will have a public open house, and that's the opportunity for the public to come in and make their comments on the projects as they go forward.
Great. Okay, so now that's enough about Ajax. I'm sure that's all anybody asks you about. Sometimes when you become a public figure, people often forget that you're also just a normal man who goes home to his family, has other hobbies and interests. So why don't you just paint a picture for us? Who is our mayor, Shaun Collier?
Well, I like to be really active. I mean, when I'm not at council, I have to have downtime, because you can't go at 100 miles an hour and indefinitely. So that's the great thing about having deputy mayor. So Marilyn Crawford's doing a great job. She steps in for me when I need some downtime, and I just got back from a vacation. So
Nice.
I do like to travel. We love to do cruises. We love to Europe is great. We spent quite a few weeks there last year. So I do that. I have a cottage that I love, so I spend a lot of time there at the cottage. Family time is very important. My kids are getting older, so it's nice we don't get them up there together as often as we used to, but at least those few times, we managed to get together as a family. We do things like water ski and all that stuff. And I love to snowmobile. So actually, yesterday in the mail, I just got all my new 2020 snowmobile permits. So this
Exciting.
weekend when I head up tomorrow, I'll be putting those on the machines, and we'll be getting ready for doing that in the winter, because
Great.
this is Canada, so you might as well embrace winter. So
Yeah.
sit down and have fun.
So you keep saying we. Who is we?
We, family, friends.
Yeah.
So
You have a big family?
it's bigger. I got remarried last year, so
Okay, congrats.
I have two great stepkids as well. So there's my wife and I and 4 kids.
Okay.
So
nice.
it's a medium-sized family, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good. So
Have your-
we as
sorry.
collective, family of friends come up and join us as well from time to time.
That's great. Have your kids shown any interest in politics?
Oh God, no. No, they're both still. Mine are still in school. They're 17 and 19. Chris is second year at Ontario Tech. He wants to be a doctor.
Nice.
He's taking his Bachelor of Science, and Michelle is grade 12 and trying to decide what she wants to do.
Of course.
So yeah.
Okay, so they're all at different phases in their lives.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and politics is, I didn't know I wanted to get involved.
Okay.
Never even crossed my mind until it happened.
That was just my next question. What influenced or inspired you to get involved?
I was actually approached in 2002 by someone that said, you've lived in Ajax your whole life, and past, except for the time I spent in the Canadian Armed Forces, I've lived here forever, and my business was right across the road in the Ajax Plaza, my accounting firm, and I lived in North Ajax in the ward that was the focus, and asked if I would consider. And I looked into it, and I decided I've lived here for a long time, and I wanted to have I have a vested interest, and I wanted to have a say in how our town developed.
Okay.
So I ran. And
Clearly you were meant for that.
it appears so. I mean, the first election I won by 51 votes,
Wow.
which is probably
Kinda
the
close.
narrowest election we've had in Ajax that I know
Wow.
of. So that's pretty small. It's got progressively better. since.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good.
So what advice would you give someone that's looking up to you or wants to follow in your successful footsteps?
Well, I didn't always have successful footsteps. So, you just have to set your focus and just work hard. I mean, if you looked at me when I was in school, I was not a good student. I didn't actually apply myself till after I got out of the military. And I was not one of these kids that went right out of high school right into university. I was not ready for that. I was not focused. I just knew I was done with school. So I went in the forces, spent 5 years there, learned a lot of discipline, grew up quite a bit. And then when I got out at 24, then I was more focused. And then I went back to school, which was the right time. And my marks went from here to here. And that's when things really sort of took off.
Awesome. So you've spent your
Just
whole
work
life.
hard.
Yeah. Okay. Just work hard. So you've spent your whole life in Ajax. What do you think sets this area apart from other big cities? What's unique about Ajax?
I'm not a big city guy, so I do not like the hustle and bustle. Like, we've been to a lot of the big cities like Paris and Rome and all those, and it's nice to go see and sightsee. In Toronto, close, but that I like our community. I like to have the open space. I like to be able to, get to places and enjoy and the freedom to move around. I'm not a big city kind of guy. So I like that we've been able to grow significantly. We're almost 129,000 population now, yet we've still maintained that small town community feel.
Exactly. I agree.
Right? And you look at, and I'll use our neighbors in Pickering. Pickering is the city of Pickering. Okay, but the city of Pickering is 100,000 population. The town of Ajax is 129,000 population. Whether you call yourself a city or a town is really irrelevant. I just think that we have been able to maintain that community feel, and that's what I want to maintain as well, and what I want to continue.
Mm-hmm. Great. So if a complete stranger were to come to Ajax and they had to pick one place to go, they asked you, what would you recommend?
Maguire's. No, I'm joking. Probably everybody has to go to see our waterfront. I mean, we have that.
Yes.
That's what really sets us apart from
Beautiful.
pretty much everywhere else. We've got 7 kilometers of uninterrupted public space, and that's sort of the jewel of South Ajax. And
Agreed.
we've got Veterans Point Gardens, we've got Paradise Park, we've got Rotary Park, Carruthers Marsh Pavilion, all these different areas all along. Lots of different features, things to see, public art down there, all kinds of paths and trails and trees and everything else. So yeah, that's generally the first stop for a lot of people.
Awesome. Great. So is there anything else you would like to say to the residents of Ajax?
I think we've got some great things to come. I'm very, very excited. You know, we've got a young, enthusiastic new council. We're taking a bit of a different approach. We've got a bit of a different vision this time round, and we're working fairly well together. And I think we're just doing things differently, and there's going to be a lot of big announcements coming.
We're ready.
And yeah, it's very, very exciting times right now. Over the next couple of years, I think we're really going to see some significant change in Ajax for the good, but we're still going to maintain all the things that make us great.
Awesome. That's a great note to end on. Thank you so much
No
for
problem.
your time.
Thank you.